Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about describing people's flaws. Neglectfulness, failing to give proper attention or care. I put a picture of a dog behind a fence because when I think about neglectfulness, it reminds me of a neighbor I had once where they would go to work and their dog would be in their garage, and they would have like a fence along. They'd open their garage door and there'd be like a fence. I'm not explaining it well. And the dog just looks sad all day. And I know when you go to work, your dog has to be somewhere, but failing to give proper attention or care. I think sometimes people have pets and there is a level of neglectfulness. They are neglectful of that animal. People are sometimes neglectful of their children. And that's a very sad thing in the world as well. So neglectfulness, failing to give proper attention or care. Envy, wanting what someone else has and feeling bitter about it. Envy and jealousy are basically the same thing. Jealousy is the more common way to describe it. But when you are envious, when you have envy, it means you see someone else's success, or you see their house, or you see their car, and you're just annoyed that you don't have the same thing. So envy, wanting what someone else has and feeling bitter about it. Yes, you can see this person has won. That person is experiencing envy. Intolerance, not accepting differences. I didn't know how to explain this one without getting into too serious of topics. So I looked for a humorous way to explain intolerance. This sign says elves only, do not enter. So obviously the elves that live here or work here, elves are magical, fictional creatures. They don't exist, but let's pretend they do. Obviously elves don't like humans. They probably don't like dwarves. They certainly don't like orcs. Intolerance would be saying only elves are allowed here and only elves are right and no one else is allowed to be in this space. Elves only, do not enter. Intolerance, not accepting differences. In the last lesson, I explained tolerance, and I think we could use a lot more tolerance in the world where people are accepting of different views from other people. Cowardice, avoiding confrontation or difficult choices, to be afraid. The classic elephant and the mouse. The elephant is a bit of a coward. The elephant is afraid of the mouse. The elephant is on the chair because they do not want to be near the mouse. So cowardice. The opposite would be bravery. Like bravery would be a knight fighting a dragon. Cowardice, someone who is a coward would run away. They would go in the opposite direction. Blame shifting, making mistakes and then saying someone else did it. And it can also be when someone does something bad to you and you complain and they say, well, they were bad to you because you did something to them. Like, it's basically when someone is a jerk, but then they say they were a jerk because you were a jerk first, or someone does something bad and then says someone else did it. So blame shifting, making mistakes, and then saying someone else did it. The right thing to do, there's an English phrase, to own up to. To own up to your mistakes means you make a mistake and you say, yeah, that was my fault. I'll fix it. That's the right thing to do. Overthinking, worrying excessively and second guessing everything. So you can see this guy has a whole bunch of thought bubbles around his head. He looks pretty happy for someone who is overthinking something. But sometimes when you plan something, you can think about it too much. So let's say you're planning a party and you're trying to figure out how is everyone going to get to the party. You're overthinking it. Just send an invitation. They'll figure out how to get to the party. And you might be thinking, what food should I tell everyone to bring? And you're overthinking it. Just say, if you could bring something as a dessert, if you could bring some drinks, like let people choose what to bring. You don't have to tell people exactly what to bring. You don't need to overthink the situation. Control issues, needing to take charge of situations or people. This is a bit like being manipulative. When someone is a control freak, that's the term we use. They need to be in charge of every aspect of something. So a control freak would say, I'm having a party. If you bring food, it has to be sandwiches. Everyone needs to wear white for some reason. Don't be late. If you're late, we're not going to let you in. You have to stay for 5 hours before you, like, that's someone who has control issues, someone who is needing to take charge of situations or people. And we would call them a control freak. I can be a bit of a control freak, but that's when I'm doing something where I'm the only one. This is another reason why I like to work by myself. When I make a video, I'm a control freak, but it's okay because I'm the only one working on it. If I had a team of people, they'd probably get annoyed with me at some point in time. Distrustfulness, assuming the worst about others' intentions. A good example of this would be if at work, your boss has a lot of cameras so that your boss can watch all the workers. And if you have on your computer at work, if you work on a computer, a keystroke detector, so your boss can log in to their computer to see if you're working or not, that would be distrustfulness. It's better, I think, to trust people, at least to a certain degree. But distrustfulness, assuming the worst about others' intentions, and then that example would be a good one. A boss who waits by the front door to see when everyone comes to work, that's distrustfulness. Lack of empathy, to not care about others' feelings. So a good example would be if someone's crying and someone laughs at them. That would be a lack of empathy. Empathy, again, is feeling the same thing someone else is feeling. So if someone is happy, you feel happy with them. If someone is sad, you feel sad with them. The lack of empathy that some people have is kind of annoying. So to not care about others' feelings, again, the example would be someone is very, very sad and someone makes a joke about the fact that they are sad. Someone laughs at them because they are sad. That would certainly be a lack of empathy.